thanks to the support as a channel member, Dan Goldstein. Oh, folks, we are heading into the business end of the season and we still have two potential ways to make it into the Champions League for the first time in our history. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 40 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the second leg of our Europa League last 16 tie against PSV, plus a Premier League game away against Fulham. Since you were last with me, we were doing well, and then we stopped doing so well. We won lots of matches, but then we've only drawn matches in March, including a pretty disappointing draw against Sunderland and then 2 0-0s, which leave us not in quite the strong position I was hoping we were going to be in. There was a moment when we were on that winning run when I thought we might be in a title race. We're definitely not in a title race. However, we are fourth in the league with 8 games to go, 5 points clear of Manchester City, who do have a game in hand on us. But remember, top 5 pretty much always secures a Champions League spot. So we're really looking at Manchester United down in 6th, who we're 8 points clear of, although again, they have a game in hand. But it's kind of in our hands from here. We are aiming for the Champions League, whether it's through the league or whether it's through the Europa League. We drew the first leg against PSV 0-0 away from home. So first matchup, we would like to secure our spot in the quarterfinal, and we'll be doing it with some new signings because we got a little bit of spensies in January because Leipzig made a frankly silly offer for Treven Sanusi, who, I mean, we barely knew him. He came in on a free transfer in the summer. He only ever started 1 game for us. I think it was the first game of the season we started him. Since then, he's been very much a substitute option, and they just came in and offered me 23 million for him. I'm not turning down 23 million pounds for a player who's only started 1 game for us. So we reinvested that money. We got the left back we were looking for, Dennis Van Veen, the tiny little 5'3" Dutch under-21 international left back. He joined us from Feyenoord for 21 million pounds. And we also got Peter Reinhold, who's a 20-year-old Danish international centre-back who can also play centre-mid. We're training him to play defensive midfield, so he fits into our system a little bit better. He's a 6'3" centre-back with loads of potential who joined us from Copenhagen for 10.25 million pounds. So with the transfers done, fingers crossed our squad is deep enough to get us over the finish line and qualify us into the Champions League one way or another. This is our team for the second leg of this Europa League last 16 game. Oscar has been injured for a little while now, but is going to have to play because we kind of need him. We've been playing Alfie Devine in that holding midfield role alongside Homo, and he's just not the same. So Oscar coming back in, can't play the full match, but we need him because I don't know if I've mentioned, we've lost all our creativity. We've scored 2 goals in 4 matches. It very much coincides with Oscar not being available. So I think he is something of a, I mean, not exactly an assist machine, is he? But he clearly just gets things moving. He is the playmaker, a creative force in midfield. We very much have missed him. So the team, what's going on with my hair? Goodness me, why is that flopping down there? You cannot get the staff these days. So the team, Hansen in goal, a back 4 of Daniels, Suarez, Kubasi and Dubai. Oh yeah, by the way, the shiny new left back, he's injured. He's going to be out for the next 3 weeks with a twisted ankle. So it's Daniels, Suarez, Kubasi, Dubai, Homo and Oscar in midfield, Amo Amayor, Stanis and O'Donoghue behind Rutter up front. Neither Rutter or Saturday Sunday have really emerged as a proper long-term Miles Leaburn replacement. I think they're both likely to be part of the squad long-term. I like them both, but I think they're both very much, their futures are out wide. Neither of them are consistent enough in front of goal to be a starting striker for us. So, I mean, look, that's the work Oscar does. He's not going to get an assist for it, but goodness me, was it an incredible piece of work from Oscar, not fully fit to burst out midfield. Unfortunately, Rutter's offside, which kind of plays into what I was saying before about him not being a natural centre forward. But that was a perfect example of what we don't have in the team when Oscar is not there. But yeah, starting to think ahead to next season. Let's work on the assumption that we're in the Champions League, and also the assumption that I still don't get any job offers from anybody and I'm still here. I think the defence with the new boys in, that's lovely work from Dubai. Dubai has just turned 3 of their players inside and out, and that is a goal. And that was phenomenal work from Dubai. I hope that all is caught on the replay, because he picks the ball up, he goes past 1 man, 2 men, 3 men, then he comes back and does them again. There's the 4th man, there's the ball into Stanis, and there's an easy chance for Rutter to put us 1-0 up. But Dubai should get all the credit for that, and he gets none of it, which is a little bit harsh on him. But as I was saying, I think looking ahead to next season and potentially being in the Champions League, obviously our goalkeeper situation is solid. Hansen and Quintana as the backup, we're fine with them. I think the back 4, it's young, but it's good enough. Same with the midfield, although we probably need a more adequate backup for Oscar. We've got plenty of players who can fill the Homo role. Kabasi can play there. We're training the new midfielder to play there. I mean, there's plenty of options in that role, but we need someone who can sit there that's not Alfie Devine, I think. So maybe a backup or someone to compete with Oscar. We're very good for attacking midfielders and wingers. We've got so many players who can play those roles, but I think we just kind of need to go all out pretty much with all our Spensies, whatever Spensies we get, and get a real top level striker. I think we are a top level striker away from a title push and being competitive in the Champions League, which seems like a bonkers thing to say when we're managing Burton Albion and we're maxed out at 10,000 capacity on our tiny little stadium. But the game has forced me down this route. The non-league to legend rules are very clear at the start. I am obviously happy and enjoying my time here at Burton. They're paying me very handsomely for the pleasure as well. It's not like I'm short of cash for managing Burton, so I don't really have an incentive to move on from them, or to be looking to move on. I need someone to come in and give me that incentive, and nobody is. So it's starting to look more and more like we could end up completing non-league to legend from Staffordshire, having never left Staffordshire. We've had no non-league to legend like it ever before. I'm enjoying the fact it's a very different type of save. It's just a little bit outside of my comfort zone being episode 40 with the same club. Amo Amayor is there to nod in the cross. I think that's a cross from Dubai, isn't it? So he actually is going to get the assist that he deserves for that incredible work that he did in the first half. It's more good work from Dubai down this right-hand side. I can't believe when we finally brought him in permanently, he actually struggled to get in the team for 6 months. It took him until the second half of last season to really establish himself as our starting right back. But these days, a year on, he's as irreplaceable as he was when we had him in the Championship, and we had to replace him, and we couldn't really. So, yeah, loving Dubai's work. Stanis is tiring. He's going to come off for Sanguinetti, and we have to take off Oscar as well, so Alfie Devine can come on and play in there again, as he has been lately. And I think we'll also take off O'Donoghue, bring on Angelo on the right-hand side, as we look to keep the players nice and fresh, looking into some seriously important and quite congested fixtures as we head into, like I say, this business end of the season. We are in March now, and if we run deep in this Europa League, we've potentially got 12, 15 games left, got 8 more left in the league, but there's at least, what would it be? Quarterfinal is 2, at least 5. I mean, if we were to win the Europa League, that's another 5 matches in this competition as well. So we could still potentially have 13 games left this season. I think we're out of the other 2 cups, aren't we? That's a good finish from Devine. I was a little harsh on him before, saying he couldn't do the Oscar role. He's come on and scored immediately to demonstrate that he can. I would refer him back to 2 goals in 4 matches preceding this one, as demonstration that it hasn't really been working as it has been, but can't really complain with what's been happening today. Right, we are going to... should I take off Dubai? Dubai is tiring. We don't really have a right... Where's Daniels? Why is Oh, Daniels is playing left back. Of course he is. Well, that's not ideal. Right, we're going to take off Amo Amayor. Saturday, Sunday can come on for him. And maybe we'll just take off Homer. We'll do the 2 easy changes. Nibombe, of course, didn't mention him before. But another player who can play in that ball-winning midfielder role. It's basically becoming a place where the centre-backs play. Most of our centre-backs now can play in that ball-winning midfielder role as well, so they can kind of double up. So we don't necessarily need anyone behind Homo in the squad planner for that position, because Kubasi and Nibombe and Reynold can all do that role. Pajoy can do the role as well, who's back at the club and can play anywhere across the defence or the midfield, really. So we've got plenty of options, which is why striker is the number one priority, because that's the one place we are missing somebody. Not that you'd know it today, because we're playing very well and absolutely battering PSV, but like I say, just the 2 goals in 4 matches leading into this one. So there was clearly a little bit of a problem in that role, even if it's not showing up today. But let's face it, PSV are probably not at the same kind of level as most of the teams that were playing in the Premier League. I checked before the match. I think they were 6th place in the Dutch league. So as a team looking to get into the Champions League from the Premier League, we should be able to comfortably beat the team that are 6th in the Dutch league. Angelo with the effort from range and can't quite keep it under the crossbar. But 4-0 has been a very good performance. Their goalkeeper has had a terrible game. I mean, we've had 7 shots on target and an XG of 1.59 and scored 4 goals. That really does tell the story of a poor goalkeeping performance. But most importantly, we are into the quarter-final in the Europa League. We're just going to rest our boys because we've got Everton in like 2 days' time. Fulham, not Everton. We've just played Everton. We've got Fulham in a couple of days. So, like I say, the matches come thick and fast. We've gone Thursday, Sunday, and then we get a midweek off, and it's Sunday, Thursday, Saturday. That fixture's surely going to move. I think it probably will once the draw for the quarterfinal happens, but busy running. The one thing we don't really have, of course, is a huge amount of squad depth. So we're unchanged for the Fulham game, even though it's only been a couple of days since the match in Europe. And I think this is probably the other area where obviously we're going to need to look to strengthen over the summer, is making sure we've got a little bit more strength in depth, which with the young squad that we've got will come naturally with time anyway, as these young players start to develop. Obviously, I know I need to play them to develop them. So I need to get better at squad rotation. I've been saying it for years. It is my big weakness when it comes to Football Manager. I just get too attached to starting 11s and do struggle with squad rotation at times. Big news going into this game against Fulham. Manchester United lost the game in hand that they had on us. So we're still 8 points clear of them, with us both on 30 games played before this match. So if we can pick up a result here against Fulham, that'll put us 11 points clear, albeit with United then having a game in hand again. But starting to really build up a nice little cushion, which could allow us to then focus properly on the Europa League and kind of secure, if we can secure Champions League through the Premier League early, which is a big if, it's a big ask for a club like Burton, but if we can get that Champions League qualification secured, we can have a real good crack at trying to win the Europa League, which would be awesome, obviously. As it is, if it comes down to it, we'll obviously have to prioritise the league over Europe, because I guess the position we're in, we're more likely to get in through the league. You just need one poor performance in Europe and it's all over, whereas you can kind of get away with it a little bit more domestically, especially when we've got a little bit of a points cushion like we're hoping to develop. Fulham, that being said, are having a pretty good season themselves. They're up in 8th place. They're going to be looking at this thinking a win for them, and they're right on Manchester United's tails. So this is by no means going to be a pushover against Fulham, and they've had the best of the early chances. And Hansen needs to be on his best. Did you say this about a goalkeeper? Hansen needs to be on his best behaviour today, as we look to obviously keep a clean sheet at one end and maybe create something at the other end. Manchester City are ahead against Bournemouth. Bournemouth fighting back. It's 3-2 now in the Man City-Bournemouth game, which I think is going on at the same time as ours. Obviously, ideal scenario, we beat Fulham, Bournemouth beat Manchester City. Amayor is in, but probably should have squared it. He's gone for the shot, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. Whenever the goalkeeper is able to just catch it without even really moving, you know it's probably been a bit of a wasted opportunity for you, and Amayor is definitely going to be feeling that. Yeah, Rutter putting some good pressure on the Fulham defenders. That's what I want to see from my striker. That's kind of why Miles Leaburn had to move on, because we needed the players who could do that fast-paced pressing from the front thing that Leaburn just wasn't physically capable of doing. The only problem is we've sacrificed Leaburn's goals to get it, and we kind of need a best of both worlds. I think I've said it before. We'd quite like an Erling Haaland. It can't be that hard. Just an Erling Haaland will do, or an Evan Ferguson. someone along those kind of lines. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, although obviously at this stage of the save, he's probably retired. A Tammy Abraham, again, probably retired. But that's the kind of player I'm looking for, who's able to have the big physical presence that we got from Leeburn, but is also able to get in behind defences and do the pressing and do the faster paced stuff that we get out of Sunday and Rutter. We'll figure it out. We'll find the guy. Like I say, there's presumably loads of them around. I can't imagine it's something every team is looking for. Seems very unlikely. Right, 20 minutes to go. We would really like a breakthrough in this match, and my lack of rotation is starting to show as the entire team are shattered, despite having those couple of days off of training. It clearly wasn't enough, and I really, really need to go and get some rotation lessons. I think we're just going to have to do all 5 substitutions here, which is always the mark of a madman, having to do 5 substitutions, but needs must. Everyone is broken. I mean, it's just working out which 5 get a rest. We could easily take off 7 or 8 here. I guess, obviously, Oscar definitely needs to be one who comes off. And I think we're going to do 5 changes and end up with that and see what happens, I guess. 20 minutes to go. I imagine Fulham are probably going to consider themselves favourites at this point, because their team, even after our 5 changes, is much fitter than our team, and we are going to be struggling a little bit. And get me back on my coaching badges. I need to redo the module on squad rotation, because we probably didn't need the full strength team against PSV in hindsight. I mean, it's difficult to say that because we went there and struggled to a 0-0. We were in poor form going into that game. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, we could have rested 4 or 5 players against them. Could we? I mean, this is the issue with not having a really obvious priority about which one of the competitions is most important. We'd like to finish 4th in the Premier League and win the Europa League, please. But to do that, we need our best team in every match fully fit, and that doesn't seem like that's going to be possible. So I think I need to get a little bit smart with that on the run-in. He says at this point of every season, in every save, and never learns. And there we go. It's cost him again. What a silly boy this Kev is, eh? What a silly boy. We're going to go very attacking. We're going to demand more. And now we're just going to hope that we can scrape a point from somewhere, because there's no benefit to us in Manchester United dropping points if we go and drop them as well. I mean, it's a lovely weekend for Fulham as it stands. They're looking at this thinking European qualification of their own is getting a lot more likely as it stands currently. Sunday, trying to get past his man, but can't, plays it into Sanguinetti. It's got through to Rutter. Rutter turns, plays Angelo in, and it's another really terrible shot from a wide player. We saw it from Amo Amior before. Now we've seen it from Angelo. Won't somebody do a football goal, for goodness sake? Suarez now plays it forward to Homo, and now across to Daniels, who's shattered and out of position at left back. Urkel also out of position at right back. Sanguinetti everything seems to bounce off him, but he's won the ball back there and found Rutter, and that's hugely important. The linesman's flag has stayed down. I mean, I guess VAR is still going to have a little look, but I think we've got ourselves the equaliser there. It's not even going to VAR. I was in the midst of criticising Sanguinetti for seeming lightweight when he actually wins the ball back and does really well. That's excellent work from him. So I guess I shouldn't be too quick to judge. I think in the circumstances of the game, the context of the day, we take the draw here. But obviously, if we can go and find the win, that would be even better. Homo leading the charge forward. Homo plays it out to Urkel, the centre-back playing at right-back. Now Angelo's in again. Foul, referee? No? Just a tackle. Boo and hiss. Angelo's got it again, plays it across to Rutter, and Rutter is there, and he's grabbed his second of the game after saying throughout the entire episode we didn't have a striker who could cut it. The one we signed in the summer to be that guy has scored twice for us in this match, and that should be the winner. And what a hugely important goal that could turn out to be. 2-1 to Burton, moves us up to 3rd place in the Premier League. That is massive. Oh my word, did we need that goal? Well, The run-in for this season has just got an awful lot more interesting. We're third in the league. Liverpool have got 2 games in hand behind us, so obviously they're going to move back above us. But importantly, we're now 5 points clear of City with their game in hand, 11 points clear of Man United with their game in hand. Champions League now feels a lot more doable. It's going to be interesting to see who we get in the Europa League in the next round. That's likely to be tomorrow's episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.